It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Anaheim, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers going up against the Angels. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. We're in Anaheim, final game of the 2-game series, final game of the 4-game series, and the final meeting of the year between the Dodgers and the Angels. The Angels, by winning last night, are doing better. They've snapped a 6-game losing streak at home, and for that matter, they've won 5 of the last 6 games, and over that stretch, they've hit over 300. They have scored 35 runs, and they're trying to make a move on Seattle. They trail Seattle by 4.5 games. Dodgers are struggling a little bit, let's face it. They've lost 2.5 games in the standings, so they're behind San Francisco, technically in 3rd place. One of the problems for the Dodgers, the bullpen again. They've given up 12 runs in 12 2/3 innings. Tonight, it'll be Ross Stripling on the mound, 1 2. His victory came against the Cardinals. He's pitching very well on the road, however. His ERA on the road is 2.1. Here in Anaheim, the Dodgers, if they're old enough to remember, it will be Ulysses Chacin. He spent a career with Colorado, and against the Dodgers, he is 9-7. Following this game, the Dodgers will go to San Diego for 3. They are 4-2 against the Padres so far this year. The Angels stay right where they are and host Baltimore for 3. Dodgers following San Diego, they will go home and play the Cincinnati Reds in a 3-game series. So those are the numbers and the little bits and pieces before the game. Right now, sit back, relax, pull up a chair. We've got a good ball game coming up right now. To you, wherever you may be. We're in Anaheim, the final game of the brief 2-game series. A chance to see Julio Chacin on the mound. The big guy who's built more like a linebacker. He's a good 6'3" and at least 215. Chacin has been around long enough to have 16 decisions against the Dodgers, and he is 9-7. It also marks the second career for him, and we'll take a look at the Dodger lineup ready to face him. Dave Roberts writes in the names: Chase Utley at second base, Justin Turner at third, Corey Seager at short, and Howie Kendrick hitting cleanup. Jock Peterson in center, Trace Thompson in left, Yasmani Grandal behind the plate, Yasiel Puig in right, and Carl Crawford, the DH, batting ninth. So here is Ulysses Chacin. He's from Maracaibo in Venezuela. We said he's big. He's 6'3" and 215. In fact, he trained so hard that he was getting too muscular as a pitcher. It looked like he was training to be a linebacker. So a few years ago with Colorado, they had him do stopping all the weights and all that stuff, concentrate on footwork, agility, even jump rope. So finally, they got him back on track. He's been busy. He signed with the Rockies when he was at the tender age of 16, and he'll be going against Chase Utley. So Chacin facing Utley, who's batting .333 against him. That means 3 for 9. And doing very well is Chase, a .311 average against right-handers. Chacin ready and deals a drag bunt in the air. Racing over to pick it up is Gio Vitella, and he can't make a play. So Chase Utley hit a bunt that didn't touch the grass. It sailed all the way to the dirt. Gio Vitella, who was so deep, tried to charge and pick it up and make the play, and he couldn't do it. So it's a bunt single for Utley, and that will bring up the number 2 hitter, and that would be Justin Turner. Justin Turner, 1 for 4 in the past against Chacin. Chacin, by the way, and looking at his work, the cleanup hitter is 1 for 16 against him, but the number 5 hitter is hitting .600. So let's see what happens. Here's the number 2 hitter, Turner. A look at first, the pitch of the plate, in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Turner checking a sign. Utley holding at first. No score. We're just starting here in Anaheim. For Chacin, like so many of the Dodger pitchers, his road record is better than at home. The pitch in the dirt through the legs of the catcher Perez, and down to second goes Utley. It'll be a wild pitch. So a bunt single, a wild pitch, and the Dodgers are in business right between the legs. Bad effort by the catcher, especially with a runner on base. Instead of getting down with that glove to block the pitch, he tried to backhand it, and instead it got away. So it's a wild pitch, but it was a bad action by the catcher. Utley now at second, nobody out, and the 1-1 pitch coming up. Chacin's fastball hit late and foul down the line, and the count 1-2. So as Turner waits, we can tell you a little bit more about Ulysses Chacin. He pitched 5 seasons in Colorado, and at home twice his ERA was below 4. That in itself in Colorado is remarkable. May is not a merry month for him. In his career, he is 5-14. So Turner and Seager back to back. Utley with a big bunt single, wild pitch to second. Dodgers with Robertson, Puig, and several others bunched up in a corner. Chacin's next pitch, and that's in for a strike. So Justin Turner fouled off a couple, caught looking, and down he goes. So the Dodgers blow a chance to advance the runner. Let's take a look at the Anaheim Angels. Cron and Gio Vitella, Petit and Escobar, Ortega, Trout, and Calhoun, and the battery of Chacin and Carlos Perez. So the batter now is Corey Seager, who is really coming into his own right now.
He has hit safely in 6 straight games against the Angels. He's hit safely in 10 of the 11 interleague games. Batting .290. Pulls one on the ground to the hole. Backhanded and fed to first for the out. So Cron makes the play. 2 down. And here comes Howie Kendrick. We were talking a moment ago about the position in the lineup. And Shakeen gets the cleanup hitter. Chacin is 1 for 16. So the cleanup hitters are batting .063. The next hitter is batting .600. And if it works out that way, you have Jock Peterson on deck. 2 down, runner at third, no score, first inning. Chacin ready, high set, fastball down and away, ball 1. Bunt single, wild pitch, strikeout, ground ball. Chacin checking, looks over at Utley. Now it comes back to Kendrick, and a pitch gets away by Perez, and here comes the run. So Carlos Perez is having a rough time behind the plate. First of all, it shouldn't have been a wild pitch in the first inning. Now he tries to backhand another one with a runner at third. I mean, they tell you not to do that. I listened to Roy Campanella talk for hours. And when you have a runner like that, you've got to just block the ball instead of backhanding it. So the Dodgers get a gift and lead 1-0. Chacin ready, fastball fouled away, and the count 2-1. So a surprise bunt by Chase Utley, and 2 wild pitches get him home. So for Mike Scioscia, a marvelous catcher in his day, that's got to shake him up a little bit with Carlos Perez. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Chacin ready, here he comes, fastball low and inside. So now he's 3-1 with Jock Peterson on deck. The number 5 hitter is hitting .600 against him. The number 6 hitter 143, and there's ball 4. So Kendrick draws a walk. And now here is the number 5 hitter. So let's see if the numbers hold up. The number 5 hitter against Chacin is 9 for 15, hitting .600. Jock Peterson trying to fit in that mold, hitting .262 with 8 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Jock Peterson has reached base safely 17 of the 19 road games, hitting .360 in interleague play. So Jock waiting, Chacin ready, Kendrick at first, 2 out, and the first pitch in for a strike. Jock Peterson hitting .305 on the road and 178 at home. Though the Dodgers lead 1-0, we're just starting. Dodgers completely shut down last night. Peterson, however, at 2 hits. Swing, squirts it foul behind Chris Woodward coaching at third. Peterson last night flied to left, single to left, walked and doubled. So he continues to hit exceptionally well on the road, and Trace Thompson hitting behind him. Chacin looks in, getting a sign. Peterson waiting, and the strike 2 pitch is instead a throw to first. Chacin certainly won't miss Andre Ethier. Ethier is a lifetime .424 hitter against Chacin with 12 walks. Adrian Gonzalez, who will not hit tonight, is hitting .333 against him lifetime. So here's the strike 2 pitch to Jock Peterson. Over the top, and it's inside to the ribs. Peterson gets out of the way, and the count 1-2. Kind of a mottled gray sky overhead. Temperature 66 degrees here in Anaheim. You almost have the feeling we might get a few drops of rain. Dodgers lead 1-0 in the first inning. Chacin ready. Kendrick off the bag at first. He does not go. There's a chopper right to Cron, the first baseman. He's on the bag. So for the Dodgers, a bunt single, 2 wild pitches, and the Dodgers get a run. And at the end of half an inning, 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. One to nothing lead, and Escobar will be leading off. Yanel Escobar is playing third base, and he's top of the heap. Cole Calhoun in right field, Mike Trout in center. Albert Pujols will be the designated hitter. C.J. Cron at first. Johnny Giovatello will be at second base. Rafael Ortega in left field. Carlos Perez, the catcher. Gregorio Petit will pick up the rear at shortstop. On the mound for the Dodgers, the pride of Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. Population 6,000, known years ago as Pigeon Town, after flocks of the now extinct passenger pigeons once gathered there. But here comes Ross Stripling at 6'3" and 190, and making his first pitch a little low, ball 1. Stripling was winless in his first 6 career starts. There's another pitcher on the Dodgers staff who troubled more than that, winless in his first 9 starts without a win, and that was Clayton Kershaw. Ground ball up the middle, base hit for Escobar. So Escobar, one of the top hitters for quite a while, begins with a base hit. We'll take a look with the Dodgers and the leather, and it goes this way. Kendrick and Utley, Seager and Turner, Thompson, Peterson, and Puig, and Grandal handling Ross Stripling. By the way, in talking about Stripling finally picking up a win, and especially Kershaw, who went 9 starts without a win. That was back in 2008. Hard to believe now. So here is Cole Calhoun with Escobar at first. Big swing and a foul ball, 0-1. By the way, just to pick up on the note, Clayton Kershaw's debut came here against the Cardinals May the 25th, 2008. A no decision in a game where the Dodgers won in 10 innings. It was Andre Ethier who broke up that game with a single. Kershaw has certainly come a long way from that game. Escobar off the bag. Stripling set, ready, comes over the top, and the pitch is low and away. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Cole Calhoun. He's been red hot of late. In the last 17 games, he's hit .349. Escobar off the bag at first. Stripling looks over at him for the moment. Neither team really a very successful running team. The next pitch is a little high and outside. For the Angels this year, they have stolen 12, but Mike has seen his runners caught 11 times. The Dodgers have stolen 9, but Roberts has seen his runners nailed 7 times. So neither one employ the running game. They will play hit and run, of course. So Escobar at first, Calhoun waiting, 2-1 the count. Stripling ready. Here he comes. A slow roller to second. Utley shovels it high and away, and Seager makes a first baseman's catch. Trying to keep 1 foot on the bag and a high throw to his gloved side. So Seager makes a good play. We have the force, and now here comes Mike Trout. Of course, to flip the ball the way Utley did, it's very hard to be very accurate. But of course, Seager is big enough to make that first baseman type play. So here he is, Mike Trout. Last 6 games, he's hitting .417. His average now up to .320. Out of a stretch is Stripling. Looks over at first at Calhoun. Takes the pitch down. Ball 1. Trout last night, as usual, turning in another excellent performance. All he had last night was a walk, 2 singles, a home run. The only time they got him, he hit a bullet at third base. So Trout waiting for Stripling. Stripling being extra cautious, hides the ball back of his right hip. Now set at the belt. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Mike Trout. Over the top fastball at the knees for a strike, and the count 1-1. Mike backs out for the moment. Now climbs back in. Stripling is very effective in his starts this year, especially in the first 2 innings. He has an ERA of 1 in the first inning and 0 ERA in the second. So we'll see what he does with Mike Trout with Pujols on deck. 1-1 pitch swung on foul back, and the count 1-2. Well, the count has changed considerably. Last night, Trout hit a home run on an 0-1 pitch as Pujols waiting on deck. Last year on the 0-1 pitch, he was 27 for 57 with 5 home runs, and he batted .474. Stripling set, trying to be very careful, and the 1-2 pitch to Trout, fastball inside. Ross Stripling, in the first time through the lineup, the opposition hits 172. The second time through the lineup, 241, but third time 355. Well, he's leading 1-0. We're in the first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Calhoun at first, and the 2-2 pitch to Mike Trout. Curveball bounced in the dirt. It gets away and kicks off on the wild pitch. Trout almost swung at it. He just did hold up. So a bounce pitch. Trout had to fight to keep the bat back, and it's a wild pitch. So we've had 3 wild pitches in the first inning. 2 of them by Chacin, and now this one by Ross. So Calhoun now at second. All right, Trout waiting. 3-2 the count. Stripling set, looks back at Calhoun, now to the plate, swung on, a hopper into left field, base hit, and they will wave in Calhoun. The throw is not in time. The ball getting away from Grandal. So for Mike Trout, well, same old Trout. Line drive single to left. The wild pitch helps Calhoun score. So they're even in that report. The Dodgers wouldn't have scored except 2 wild pitches. So Mike Trout continues to slash away. In his last 26 games, Trout has just demolished the opposition. Mike hitting better than .370 in his last 26 games plus tonight. And so we have a 1-1 tie in the first inning, and here is Albert Pujols. Stripling ready. There goes Trout. The pitch low, double clutched by Grandal, and Trout steals it. for Steve. That makes it 4-1 as far as Trout is concerned in stolen bases. Backhanded by Grandal, but he double clutched, so he lost the play right there. There, and late. So Trout singles in a run to tie it up, turns right around to steal second, and Pujols now trying to pick him up. The last week, Pujols has been hitting .379. Stripling looks back at Trout, now to the plate, and it's low. Remember, there's just one out. Escobar single, Calhoun hit into a force play. Calhoun wild pitch to second. Trout picked him up with the base hit. Then Trout steals second base. And Pujols at the plate. 2-0 the count. Calhoun in the safety of the dugout. Pujols in and out. Backs out for the moment. All right, Stripling trying to be very, very careful with Trout, and now Pujols. His 2-0 pitch is a fastball for a strike, and the count 2-1. That's a great combination for a pitcher to face. Trout followed by Pujols. Ross Stripling looks in, gets a sign. 1 out first inning and a 1-1 tie. Stripling hiding the ball behind his hip, now set at the belt. 2-1 pitch coming up. Pujols has to get out of the way, almost hit by a pitch high and inside. And the count 3 balls and 1 strike. It might have been a slider that got away. So Stripling trying to recover, get himself back together again. Dave Roberts anxiously watching. Remember, his bullpen has given up 12 runs in the last 12 2/3 innings. So he needs innings from his starters. Here's the 3-1 pitch on the way. Fastball is low, ball 4. So Stripling has given up 2 hits, a walk, and a run. One run, 1 hit for the Dodgers, 1 run, 2 hits for the Angels. C.J. Cron is doing very well, playing first base at home, giving Pujols a chance to rest. Hitting .265. His dad played in the majors with the Angels and the White Sox. Big right-hand batter. Stripling in a little trouble here. He hasn't fooled anybody. Calhoun hit into a force play, but he's given up 2 base hits and a walk. So Trout taking a pretty good lead at second. Pujols behind him at first. The off-speed pitch is backhanded by Turner. Down to second, over to first. Double play. Boy, Turner made that look so easy. Backhanding the hard hit ball and around the horn, they used to call it. 5-4-3, and we have a 1-1 tie. high. It will be Thompson, followed by Grandal, and then Puig. Chase Thompson, who's been doing such a good job, he has not faced Ulysses Chassin. And he's about ready to check in, and we go into the second inning in a 1-1 tie. Chassin ready, starts him with a fastball at the knees, and the count 0-1. Ulysses Chassin out of Maracaibo in Venezuela. Big right-hander, comes back 0-1. Little cutter in for a strike. Thompson now with a no-ball, 2-strike count. Chassin has had a long career, 11 years, 28 years old. And the next pitch to Thompson is low. It was 1 year ago Chassin was unconditionally released by the Rockies. Thompson, a little dribbler foul up along third. So the count stays 1-2. And boy, did he ever bounce around. He was a fixture with Colorado. And then all of a sudden, the Indians signed him to a minor league deal last year. Then he got his release from the Indians, so he signed with the D-backs. Then he went to the Braves, and finally here. Pitch fouled away. It was the 11th of May when the Braves traded Chassin to the Angels for left-hand pitcher Adam McCreary. He's got it all. He's got the 2 fastballs, curveball, cutter, slider, and changeup. Doesn't throw as hard as he did 4 and 5 years ago. He's probably lost 3 or 4 miles per hour. 1-2 pitch, fastball fouled away again. When you break down his pitches, you're going to see the 4-seamer about 38% of the time. The sinker and the slider about the same, 22. So Thompson trying to get something started here. Chassin ready, comes back 1-2, and that's fouled away. Ulysses backing off, waiting for a moment. If a hitter doesn't swing at his first pitch, the batting average against him is only .221. So the 1-2 pitch is low and away. 2-2 the count. As usual, like most pitchers, if Chassin is behind in the count, the batting average is about .291. So here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Thompson might have been guessing it was a bit out in front of a pitch, and we have 1 down. That would be the second strikeout for Ulysses Chassin, and the batter now will be Yasmani Grandal. Dodgers got a run on a bunt, 2 wild pitches, and a ground ball out. The Angels came back to get a run on 2 hits and a walk. Right-hander ready, fastball low and away to Grandal. Grandal 1 for 5 in the pass against Chassin. The 1-0 pitch taken away, ball 2. We mentioned Ethier hitting .424 against Chassin with 3 doubles. Carl Crawford is 6 for 9 against him. The next pitch is taken for a strike. So Crawford just waiting as he stands alongside Jock Peterson. Meanwhile, a big swing and a miss by Grandal. Grandal is struggling. On deck, Yasiel Puig. Grandal batting left-handed, switch hitter, as you know. And here comes Chassin. Fastball, line drive right at Chassin. So Grandal hits it pretty hard, and it finds the glove of the pitcher. Right back at him. So we have 2 down. and Yasiel Puig coming up. Puig checking in against Chacin. Give you an idea, he's done pretty well, 3 for 10 with a ribby. And then, of course, Crawford hitting behind him, 6 for 9. Top of the heap, Chase Utley, 4 for 10. And the first pitch in for a strike, 0-1 to Puig. Yasiel hurt his shoulder last night, but stayed in the game. Wound up going 1 for 3 with a walk. The fastball a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Chase Utley, after leading off with that bunt and scoring, I think that was Adrian Gonzalez talking to him. That's who it is. 2-1 the count. Well, you got 2 veterans in that corner exchanging ideas. And the next pitch to Puig is swung on and missed, and the count 2-2. Yasiel somehow, some way, trying to get something started. Hitting .282 on the road. Fastball, a chopper to third, backhanded there. Escobar gets it over to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ulysses Chacin. So at the end of an inning and a half, a 1-1 tie. Of the second inning, and it'll be Johnny Giovitella followed by Rafael Ortega and then Carlos Perez. Giovitella, the second baseman, working on a 7-game hitting streak as he checks in. Stripling, fastball low, and starts him 1 ball and no strikes. Giovitella is one of those fellows who has not been gifted. He has had to work very, very hard, both offensively and defensively, hitting a solid .255 with a couple of home runs. Here comes Stripling, fastball lined over the glove of a leaping Utley. Up with it in right center is Peterson, and Giovitella will hold with a leadoff single, so he is hitting 8 straight. Ortega will be coming up. Be sure to celebrate Dodger pitching great Don Newcomb's 90th birthday on Wednesday, June 8th. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Don Newcomb bobblehead presented by United Healthcare. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Well, here's Rafael Ortega, just called up. He's been up twice, going back and forth from Salt Lake, hitting .315, had 2 for 3 last night, couple of RBIs, and the left-hand hitter takes off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Ortega made his major league debut believe it or not, back in 2012 at Dodger Stadium and collected his first 2 big league hits. That was the end of September 2012. Giovitella over there at first drawing a throw, so the Dodgers wondering about him. He has stolen 2 and been caught 2. So Giovitella with Kendrick playing off the bag, caddy corner, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Stripling delivers fastball for a strike. Giovitella, leading off the inning with a base hit, was hitting 182 in April. In May, it is the merry month of May. He's hitting 354. So Gio taking his lead, 1-1 the count to Ortega. Carlos Perez, the catcher, on deck. Stripling out of a stretch, very cautious, very deliberate. Now to the plate, little off-speed pitch and swung on and missed by Ortega. 1-2. You know, pitchers are somewhat like racehorses. They are trained to run a distance, and the time that they take between starts is extremely important. So far, the Angels have 3 hits and a run against Stripling, who is on 5 days rest tonight. The 1-0-2 pitch, checked low, 2-2 the count. When he's pitching on 4 days rest, 1 win, 2 losses, and an earned run average over 7. When he's on 5 days, no wins, no losses, an ERA of 3.7. If he's on 6 days, no record and an ERA of 1.3. Ross hiding the ball back of the hip. Ortega waiting, nobody out. Giovitella off the bag at first. Stripling watching, now to the plate, and it's hit late and foul into the crowd. Crowd not quite as big tonight as last night. Last night was a sellout, 44,006. Angels averaging 37,000 a game at home. The Dodgers 45,000. So a 2-2 count to Ortega. Nobody out. 1-1 tie, second inning. Stripling quick throw to first. Nothing there. Remember his ERA inning by inning. It's 0 in the second and then almost 4 in the third. Ross looks over to see what Giovitella is up to. Now he throws over there again. Another interesting note about Stripling, at home the opposition is hitting .315 against him. On the road, 121. However, he's already given up 3 hits in 1 inning so far tonight. 2-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. Big slow breaking ball, and Ortega comes up empty. So that's the first strikeout for Ross Stripling. And the batter, Carlos Perez. Perez has appeared a little shaky behind the plate, trying to backhand pitches, and he's paid the price, at least the pitcher has, with 2 wild pitches. Carlos is also struggling, hitting just 169. It certainly looked like Giovanni Soto was going to be the #1 catcher for the Angels, but he's going to have surgery on a knee. Perez lifting a fly ball to Puig in right field. Yasiel makes a 2-handed catch and gets it back in. So 2 out, second inning, a 1-1 tie. 1 run, 3 hits for the Angels. 1 run, 1 hit for the Dodgers. And here comes Petit. Whoops, another score. The Giants are out in front. Remember, the Giants have won 7 straight, and they're leading the Padres 2-1 in the 6th. Jeff Samardzija and James Shields. All right, Ross Stripling ready, works the #9 hitter and gets a strike, and the count 0-1. Gregorio Petit. Prior to this year, Petit had played in 82 games with the A's, the Astros, and even the Yankees. 0-1 the count. The strike one pitch, line drive, one-handed by Turner, a bullet just a little over his head. So Petit hits it right on the screws, but lines out. So no runs, one hit, a man left, and at the end of 2, a 1-1 tie. One tie, top of the third inning. Two youngsters, one wearing a Dodger shirt, the other an Angel shirt, and they want a freeway series between the Dodgers and the Angels. Well, here's Carl Crawford, and he has a look at a pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1. Crawford hitting .667 against Chacin. That translates 6 for 9 with a couple of doubles. And the next pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-2. So Crawford, despite hitting Chacin well in the past, finds himself in a hole. No balls, 2 strikes. Crawford had 2 singles last night. High chopper down to Giovatella, and the easy out at first. 1 away in the third inning, and the Dodgers will be Chase Utley. Utley led off the game with a bunt single that never touched the grass. That's right, it carried from his bat at home plate to the dirt at second base. He legged it out for a base hit. For Utley, only his 10th career bunt single. By the way, he has 238 career home runs, but 10 bunt singles. So Utley waiting with Turner on deck in a 1-1 tie. The Dodgers have 1 hit, and that was that bunt single. Into the windup goes Chacin. The big man delivers. Nice easy fastball foul back, and the count 0-1. Chacin does not have the kind of a record that means anything after all the years he pitched in Colorado. 0-1 pitch, and that's a strike, and the count 0-2. With the Rockies, and he had to pitch well to do it, 9-11, 11-14. Then after knocked around with bruises, 3-5. The next one, Utley way off the plate. He had one, I guess you'd call it a big year for the Rockies in 2013. He won 14 and lost 10. But he's a better pitcher. But because pitching in Colorado, the numbers are high. The pitch to Utley is high, and the count 2-2. Chacin working from the first base side of the rubber. Positioning on the rubber is so important to the pitcher. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball lifted to shallow left. It's going to drop for a base hit. So Utley is 2 for 2. Chacin had a little smile on his face as if to say, what are you going to do? So a bloop single to left. And the batter will be Justin Turner. No chance for Ortega to make a catch. So Turner, who struck out in the first inning, checks in. Turner 1 for 4 coming into the game. A .250 average. Strikes out. His average now for the year, .231. Chacin out of his stretch. Deals and the pitch in for a strike. And the count 0-1. Turner trying to get things together. He just can't understand what's going on right now. Struggling so much with the bat after a great year with the Dodgers last year. Strike one pitch on the way. Chacin's fastball, and that's a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chacin, in his younger days, 5 years ago, struck out a lot of plate. He had a good fastball, and he's lost a little in the velocity. Turner waiting. Utley at first, 1 out, 1-1, 3rd inning. Fastball hit late and foul down the right field line, way out of play. 1-2. Dodgers leave after the game. They'll go to San Diego for 3. The Angels stay right here. They'll welcome Baltimore. Baltimore atop the heap. Half a game in front of the Red Sox. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Chacin delivers. Fastball fouled away. Dodgers going to San Diego. The Padres are 8-13 at home. They're in last place, 6.5 games back, and they've lost 3, and they were losing tonight 2-1 early. So the Dodgers hoping to get to San Diego and get well. Giants are leading the Padres 2-1 in the 6th inning. Jeff Samardzija and James Shields. One and 2 the count. So Turner fouling him off, and he and Chacin really dropped in now in the battle. 1-2 breaking ball is down and away. 2-2 the count. Alex Wood, Scott Kazmir peering out. Kazmir will open up the series in San Diego. Turner waiting, still 2-2. Chacin ready. There goes the runner on a high chopper to short. That loses the force play for them, and the out recorded at first. So with Utley running, he's into second base. Otherwise, that's probably a double play. So Turner grounding out. Utley at second, and the batter is Corey Seager. Corey Seager doing everything well. He has a 9-game hitting streak, and the Dodgers beginning to really rely on him. In fact, when you're hitting number 3 in the lineup, you're top dog. That's the best hitter spot. And he's hitting .288, 7 home runs, 21 runs batted in. With the shortstop Petit directly behind Utley, Utley is not going to be able to take a big lead, but at the same time, that opens up the whole left side of the infield should Seager get a pitch to go that way. The fastball full swing foul outside at third, and the count 0-1. Corey Seager. He's hit safely in the career 6 games that he's ever played against the Angels, batting .348. He's doing well in intra-league games, hitting 10 of 11. Nine-game hitting streak, looking for 10. We have a 1-1 tie, third inning, and the fastball is low. Chacin throwing well enough. He just hit 93 on the gun. Dodgers 1, Angels 1, top of the third. Petit really hounding Utley. And the pitch squirted to the left side. Utley has to jump over the ball, and there's no play. Remember, we told you with Petit playing behind Utley, there was no one at shortstop, and Seager went that way for a base hit. Little ground ball. What Seager did was take advantage. Petit, all he could do is make sure that the ball didn't get through. It didn't get through because Utley jumped over it. So Seager a base hit. Now he has hit safely in 10 straight. Utley is at third, and the batter is Howie Kendrick, who walked in the first inning. 1 run, 3 hits for the Angels. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Chacin ready, and Kendrick with runners at first and third and 2 out. Fastball line down the right field line. Foul ball. This is a big ballpark. It's a bit bigger than Dodger Stadium. 350 down the right field line. Then it's 365. There's an 18-foot high wall in right center. Then it's 396. The big part of the ballpark in left center, it is 390 and then comes back in. But 390 out there is a long way. 0-1 the count. Kendrick back up and waiting. First and third. 2 out, 1-1 tie. Chacin ready. The pitch to Kendrick is swung on and missed. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Going into the game, Howie Kendrick 2 for 6 against Chacin, and he walked in the first inning. Strike 2 pitch on the way. Chacin set, delivers, breaking ball, line down the right field line, a diving try, and Calhoun came up empty. 2 runs will score. Kendrick is on his way to third with a stand-up triple, and the Dodgers lead 3-1. Kendrick got a breaking ball and went the other way, driving it down the right field line. That scored Utley from third, Seager from first, and the Dodgers lead 3-1. Calhoun made a desperate diving try, couldn't make the play, and the Dodgers take 2 to take a 3-1 lead. Calhoun, a very aggressive player, gave it his best shot and came up empty. So now with Kendrick at third, here's Peterson, who grounded out in the first inning to Cron. Big swing and a miss on a breaking ball. 0-1 the count. Peterson is just too young to have faced Chacin. Hitting .259, 8 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Chacin back with a pitch, a high chopper charging. Giavella picks it up and makes the play. So Peterson taps out, but Kendrick doubled in 2 and then took the extra base since Cron was not in the play at all. Calhoun jogging in, and it's 3-1 Dodgers. 2, and the Dodgers lead 3-1. But the pitch was a mistake. It was an off-speed hanger right out over the plate. The count was no balls and 2 strikes. That is not the pitch you want to make, and Chacin knows it, and he's angry with himself. So the Dodgers take the lead, and it'll be Escobar, Calhoun, and Trout for the Angels. Big curveball in for a strike from Stripling. So Howie, on a no ball 2 strike count, drives in 2. As you can see, he's a spray hitter. Fastball is low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Yaniel Escobar. With Washington last year. Boy, talking about Washington, what a number they did on the Mets tonight. And Matt Harvey. Whoa. Next pitch is off the plate here. Washington defeated the Mets 9-1. That was Steven Strasburg and the so-called Black Knight in New York. Even blacker tonight for him, Matt Harvey. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ross Stripling, giving the lead, has been doing very well pitching on the road. Two and 1 the count. Stripling with a tender arm, having had surgery, so the Dodgers taking very careful of his pitch count. The game that he won, he made 89 pitches. That's in the high part of the strike zone to balance it up 2-2. Dave Roberts has a lot of thinking to do about the Dodgers, especially the fact they're struggling to score runs. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball hit in the air to left field. Thompson coming up, makes a diving attempt, can't make the catch, and holding on at first is Escobar with a base hit. So Trace Thompson charging that little fly ball, couldn't quite do it. One thing, he's trying to backhand and the ball came out of the glove, so he should have caught it since he was that close to catching it. But it gets away. It'll be a base hit for Escobar. And of course, anytime you get a man on, you immediately say, where is Trout? Well, Calhoun's at the plate and Mike Trout is on deck. So Escobar is 2-for-2 in his leadoff role. Calhoun, like Thompson, diving for the ball, couldn't make the play. For Calhoun, of course, it meant a triple for Hendrick and 2 runs in the difference in the game. Fastball for a strike. 0-1. Dodgers overshift a bit. Seager's near the bag at second, so Justin Turner's pretty much all alone on the left side. But it's a modified shift. They didn't load up. Beach ball on the field, so timeout for the moment. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 4 hits for the Angels. We're in the 3rd. The Angels snapped a 6-game losing streak at home last night. Calhoun fouls it back. So the Angels are 7-12 at home. We were talking about it, it must be almost a week ago. There are only 5 teams in the National League that were above 500 at home. The Dodgers are 10-12. 0-2 the count to Cole Calhoun. Hit into a force play in the 1st inning. Escobar holding, and the pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dodgers technically in 3rd place by a percentage point. 2.5 games back of the Giants. The Angels 4.5 behind Seattle. Roberts left-handing his notes. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Outfield very deep. Peterson in center. And the 1-2 pitch, Calhoun slaps it foul off to the left. Mike Trout waiting on deck, and where there was a long time where he couldn't do anything, he was like 1 for 21 against the Dodgers, but it's a different Trout now. Last night he had a walk, 2 singles, a home run, and he has a single and a run batted in the first inning tonight. 1-2 to Cole Calhoun. Escobar at first, nobody out. Throw to first, not in time. Escobar doesn't do much running. 1 stolen base, caught once. Stripling checking with Grandal. Another look over at first. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on a bullet, foul, and I mean, did that ball leave in a hurry. Still 1-2. We can tell you that the Giants lead the Padres 3-1 in the 7th inning. Brandon Crawford hit a solo home run. The Giants are trying to win their 8th in a row behind Jeff Samardzija. James Shield pitching for San Diego. He will be known as the guy who gave up the home run to Bartolo Colon. All right, 1-2 to Calhoun. Ross ready, delivers, comebacker. Sterling now goes back to second for 1 over the first double play, and boy, that ball was hit hard. So Stripling makes a fine catch of a hot shot right back at him. A hopper right about at his belt buckle, and he was able to turn to get 2. So double play, 1-6-3, 2 down, and here's Mike Trout. Trout really tearing it up now, hitting .325. And by the way, when he did get the base hit to drive in the tying run, the count was 3-2. Here's the pitch to Mike for a strike. It was important to see that bad pitch that Yalisha Soon made against Howie Kendrick. 0-2, hit for a triple. Well, Trout singled on a 3-2 pitch. You know what he was doing on 3-2 pitches this year? Hitting 107. That's right. He was only 3 for 28, 3-2. Right now he's 1-1. Stripling ready. Here he comes. And Trout takes high and inside with a fastball. And the count goes 2-1. So the boy from Bluebell trying to get rid of Trout. Pujols on deck. 2-1. Fastball. Swung on, foul tip, held by Grandal. 2-2 to count. Talking about a slow start, Trout in the first 8 games hit 185. And for the last little more than a month, he's hitting 355. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stripling delivers in the dirt. 3-2. Though there's that count again, 3-2. Remember, he is 4 for 29 when the count's 3-2. Stripling looks ready, and the big pitch to Trout, curveball hit in the air to left center field, heading for the rock pile and gone. Mike Trout hits a big overhand curveball over the wall into the rocks, and the Dodger lead is now 3-2. He is just magnificent. For Trout, his 10th home run and 30 runs batted in, and he just crushed it. And that's a big part of the ballpark. It's somewhere between 390 and 396 out there. Pujols takes off the plate. So Trout has a home run, and of course Pujols has hit 568. And he pops one foul off to the right, and it will be back in the crowd. One other thing about Albert Pujols, in last night's game, he walked twice and he had 2 singles. And when he got that second single, it gave him 2,700 hits. Meanwhile, Trout getting a pat on the rear from Calhoun. Of course, Calhoun hitting into the double play deprived it from being an even bigger run. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ripped over third down the line. Diving effort by Turner is not enough, and Pujols slowly jogging into second base with a double. For Pujols, with 2 doubles this year, not only hit it right down the line, it went off Turner's glove in his backhanded effort, and Pujols slowly running to second base. So in the inning, Escobar singled. Calhoun almost took Stripling's legs off, but Ross turned it into a double play. Trout hit a 3-2 curveball out of sight, and now Pujols doubles. Dodgers still leading, but they're hanging on 3-2. Cron hit into a double play. Dodgers have turned 2 for Stripling. Ross looks at Pujols. Fastball foul back, and the count 0-1. Dodgers 3 runs, 4 hits. Angels 2 runs, 6 hits. Pujols in his last 8 games was hitting .364 with a couple of home runs and 9 RBIs. Though by hitting .364, he's lifted his average up. It was only .183. All right, 0-1 the count. Stripling ready, comes back, breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. So if anybody had any doubts about Trout after that slow start, he is really giving the Dodgers a terrible time. Last night, a walk, 2 singles and a home run, and tonight a single and a home run. Strike 2 pitch on the way. Stripling deals. High fastball fouled away. There was a time at the beginning of the year where the Dodgers were really controlling Trout. I mean, they just seemed to have his number. Well, certainly not anymore. So Trout's on the beam. They're happier down here in Anaheim. 0-2 the count to Cron. Stripling keeping an eye on Pujols. Overhand pitch, a flare into shallow right. Puig makes a running catch. So the wild horse comes in to make the catch, and another stallion in the Angel dugout hits a home run, and at the end of 3, it's 3-2 Dodgers. To talk about myself, I really want to talk about the generosity of the Angels. A group of players, along with Mike Scioscia, gathered in a small room to say goodbye to me, since this is the last game I will broadcast here in Anaheim. And it was really more a tribute to the Angels, a ball club with which I have nothing to do. But they're the ones who should be celebrated for their generosity. And they did a lovely thing to gather in a private room. The fans did not see it, but they showed the picture on the board. Okay, we have bowed to the Angels. Thank you very much. And here we go into the fourth inning. Trayce Thompson, Yasmani Grandal, Yasiel Puig. Thompson struck out in the second inning. Stripling had one really tough inning. Ground ball to short. Petit takes care of Thompson. One away. Stripling had 24 pitches in the third inning. Gave up a single, a double, and a home run. But because of the double play, he only gave up one. So the Dodgers still holding on 3-2 in the fourth. And here's Grandal. He hit a line drive right into the glove of Chacin. By the way, figures do stand up. We told you about Stripling in the first two innings. The ERA in the first inning is 1. The ERA in the second inning is 0. And the ERA in the third is 3.8, almost 4. And sure enough, in the third inning tonight, single, double, home run. That's lifted foul down the left field line out of play. And if you're saying to yourself, well, what about the fourth inning for Stripling? That's not good. His earned run average against him in the fourth inning is 5.4. And help him when he gets to the fifth. The ERA is over 9. Because he can only face that man a certain number of times. 2-2. So in 2 games, Trout has 2 home runs, 3 singles. The only time they got him, he hit a bullet at Justin Turner last night in the 8th inning. That's a little low to Grandal. 3-2 the count. Dodgers heading for San Diego for 3, and they'll be home Monday night against Cincinnati. And in looking at the rotation for the Dodgers, Monday night it looks like it will be Kershaw. Breaking ball lifted to right center. It appears to be playable, and on his way is Calhoun to make the play. So 2 down here in the 4th inning. Say, do you know a standout high school senior athlete? If you do, nominate them for a chance to be named a Time Warner Cable Sports Championship Drive Scholar Athlete and receive a $2,500 college scholarship. So go to twcschamp.com now for more information. Yasiel grounded to third in the second inning. Notorious first ball hitter. Sure enough, hits it into right field. That's going to land for a base hit. So Puig hitting 8th in the lineup. Singles to right. And Crawford hitting 9th coming up. He grounded out in the 3rd inning. Both Crawford and Puig staring over at Chris Woodward. The plus for the Dodgers, using Crawford 9th as the DH. You really have 2 leadoff men with Utley at the top of the heap. We'll also wonder about Puig doing any running. And Chacin is wondering about that. Puig 1 for 2 in stolen bases. And again, they're thinking about somebody running. The one good thing, when you have 2 out and a hitter like Crawford batting 9th, you can gamble. You don't want to have the out and then have the pitcher leading off the next inning. If they get Puig, Crawford would start it, though he might be gone. Ground ball to short. Nice pick by Petit, and that'll be that. So not much chance to think about Puig stealing. No runs, 1 hit, and a man left. And at the end of 3.5, it's 3-2 Dodgers. Three to 2 in favor of the Dodgers. We mentioned how difficult the 3rd inning has been in his past. It's a young career. The 4th inning is even worse. So we'll see. Giovitella, Ortega, and Perez, the bottom of the Angel lineup. And that's ball 1. Giovitella singled. He has an 8-game hitting streak. Breaking ball missing, ball 2, slow curveball. Thomas Ross Stripling by name, working on Johnny Giovitella, and that misses. 3-0. He walked Pujols in the 1st inning. Fastball down the pipe. 3-1. Ross Stripling grew up in the Dallas suburbs playing baseball, basketball, and football. He didn't really concentrate on baseball until he fractured his knee playing basketball in high school. Fastball fouled away right by the Angels. That almost got somebody. Three and 2 the count to Giovitella. With a base hit tonight. He has an 8-game streak. Fastball fouled away. You can see the hitter Giovitella gesturing down as if to say, get the ball down. Don't go up there to get that high fastball. For Stripling, ready to make his 60th pitch. Dodgers scored 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd. The Angels scored 1 in the 1st and 1 in the 3rd. Check swing, strike 3. Giavotella very frustrated, thought it was a walk. Instead, it's a strikeout, and we have one down in the fourth. For Stripling, picked up a strikeout with Ortega in the second inning, and now his second strikeout against Giavotella. Ortega 0 for 1. Daniel Nava, the left fielder, on the DL, and Ortega came up. Hopper down to Seager. Nice stretch by Kendrick, and we have two down. So Howie doing an amazing job when you realize he's played first base, second base, third base, left field, and doing a very good job in every position. Two down. Here's Carlos Perez, fly to right field in the second inning. Puig coming up to make a running catch, and a strike. Oh and 1. Good fastball. When Ross was in high school, he didn't pitch until his senior year because of that broken leg. And he couldn't play in the infield, so he decided to throw on the sidelines. He wasn't really very good at baseball, that's what he says. He didn't make the varsity until he was a junior. In the dirt. Big block by Grandal, and the count 2-2. When Ross Stripling could not play, his coach had him charting pitches during the preseason scrimmages. High pop fly. Kendrick. So a 1-2-3 inning in the fourth inning, a vast improvement in that inning, and at the end of 4, Dodgers lead 3-2. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Save big on the striking all-new 2016 Prius. See your local dealer today. His name, Harold Pee Wee Reese. Pee Wee, of course, the marble. And as a kid, he was known in the neighborhood in Louisville for being a good marble shooter. And of course, he became the captain of the Dodgers, and the cry always was number one in your scorecard, number one in the hearts of the Brooklyn fans. Chase Utley in the fifth, followed by Turner and Seager. 1 ball and no strikes. It is hard to believe, but we all make mistakes, and even a veteran like Pee Wee Reese made a mistake, not an error, foul ball. The Dodgers way back had Rocky Bridges with the ball club, and Rocky was a notorious tobacco chewer. Now Pee Wee had played a long time and never had any tobacco in his mouth ever. Rocky, it seemed, was born with tobacco in his mouth, big jaw swollen with the tobacco. 1-2. One day, believe it or not, here's the kid saying to the veteran, "Have you ever tried chewing tobacco?" Pee Wee said, "No, I never needed it." "Oh," he said, "Rocky, you know, Pee Wee, you ought to do it. You ought to try it. Just try it one time. You'll see how much you can enjoy it." And Pee Wee went for it. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Low, 2-2. So Rocky cut off a chunk of chewing tobacco, and it's really a misnomer because it's not chewing tobacco. What you do, you put the piece of tobacco between your teeth and your cheek and you squeeze it. You don't chew it. You squeeze it, and unfortunately you then spit a lot. Here's the 2-2 pitch, ball 3. So the veteran takes the tobacco from the kid, puts it in his mouth, goes to shortstop to take infield before the game, and the first ground ball to the great Pee Wee Reese, he instinctively swallows as he's going after the ball. It's the most normal thing to do. You got it. He was sicker than a dog swallowing the tobacco. Meanwhile, with all of that, Utley draws a walk. And the batter, Justin Turner, who has struck out and grounded out. Chacin walked 2. Now concentrating on Turner. The other walk went to Kendrick. 3-2 Dodgers. Top of the 5th. Outfield split, gap in left center, and a line drive by the diving Escobar for a base hit. Rounding second, holding on is Utley. So Turner singles Utley to second, nobody out. Seager, Kendrick, and Peterson due out. Chacin, coming off an inning where he only made 10 pitches in the 4th. In fact, at the end of 4 innings, each starting pitcher had made 66 pitches. So here is Seager. And ball 1. Seager has had a wonderful month of May. Grounded out and singled, scored a run. He was slugging a little over 700 in the month of May, and hits a high fly ball to deep center. Back goes Trout, still on the grass to make the catch. Utley tags, Turner has to hold. So a long fly ball to center by Seager, and that gets Utley to third base, 1 out. So Corey swinging the bat like a number 3 hitter, and the batter is Howie Kendrick. Remember the 3rd inning, 0-2, a curveball banged down the right field line. Calhoun diving, couldn't make the play, and the Dodgers picked up 2, a triple for Kendrick, and the Dodgers led 3-1. Then the Angels came back with 1, and the lead is 3-2. Jose Alvarez, a left-hander, gets up in the Angel bullpen, back of left field. Turner at first, Utley at third, 1 out. Kendrick walked and then hit that 0-2 pitch for the triple. Fastball fouled away. That's what happened in the at-bat in the 3rd. Chacin came after him with 2 good fastballs that were fouled off, and then he tried to throw a slow curveball. Kendrick hit a sinking line drive. Calhoun dived, couldn't make it, and it went for 3, and the Dodgers picked up 2. 0-1. Another fastball. 1-1 to Howie. Fastball. So all fastballs. We'll see if he ever gets that slow curveball that he hit for a triple. Dodgers lead 3-2. Jock Peterson on deck. And they have runners at first and third. Utley at third, Turner at first. 1 out. We mentioned after the game the Dodgers play 3 with San Diego. The Giants go home and play 3 games with the Cubs and 3 games with the Padres when the Dodgers are playing Cincinnati. Fastball again. Just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Socha watching the man that he just hired working on Kendrick. 4 fastballs in a row, and this will be his 80th pitch. Turner at first, Utley at third, 1 out. Dodgers trying to add to a 3-2 lead. 2-2. Fastball. So after 5 fastballs in a row, is he going to throw a 6th? Socha hanging out a sign. Look at those fingernails so you can see the signs better. 3-2. Throw to first. Anything to help the pitcher. Carlos Perez has the nails that really shine, and it's easy to read. He's looking over at his manager. Now look at that. Yeah, you could see that in a snowstorm. 3-2, 1 out. What about Turner? He goes. And the pitch is inside, ball 4. So that might be all for Chacin. Yep, he's done. So he got into the 5th inning, gave up 2 walks and a single. So the bases loaded, 1 out. Alvarez was down in the bullpen, and we'll be back. Series collection June 4. Dodgers and Braves, and the pin features number 20 Don Sutton, courtesy of 76. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Elise Chacin a little discouraged as he goes out with a bases loaded, 1 out, walking 2 and giving up a single. Club is down 3-2, and the veteran is also down a bit. So he gives the ball to the left-hander, Jose Alvarez. He's from Barcelona, Venezuela. In his 21st game, 0-1, 5'11", about 180, 29 years old. Jock Peterson, 0 for 2, grounded out twice. Dodgers have Utley, Turner, and Kendrick out on the lines, and that's ball 1. Alvarez 0-1, an earned run average of 4.5. So Utley, Turner, and Kendrick all at their stations, 1 out. We're in the 5th inning, and the Dodgers trying to add to a 3-2 lead. Foul back. Jock Peterson in his young career has 1 grand slam. He hit it against Atlanta. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. After Peterson, Trace Thompson. Fastball hit slowly up the middle. It's the shortstop feeding Giovatelli for 1. Safe at first. Scoring is Utley, and the Dodgers lead 4-2. So the Angels tried, but they missed the double play. So Utley is welcomed in, and the Dodgers take the lead. Peterson gets a run batted in. The feed to Giovatelli, who had an off-balance throw, getting the feed from Petit. So thanks to that, everybody moves up. Kendrick was forced. Turner is now at 3rd, and Utley scores for the 2nd time tonight. Trace Thompson struck out and grounded out, 0 for 2. Dodgers still 1st and 3rd. Turner down the line from 3rd. Peterson away from 1st. And here's Trace facing the left-hander. Off speed, he almost ran out of the batter's box. He wanted to take a swipe at that. 0-1. So Turner's over at 3rd. Off the bag at 1st is Peterson. A little ground ball to the left of short. Petit a shovel, and they get the force. So Chase Utley's had a big night. Scored in the 1st inning on a wild pitch. Scored on a triple by Kendrick, and now tonight has scored on a force play by Peterson, and the Dodgers lead 4-2. second time tonight has a 2-run lead. He led 3-1, then 3-2, and now 4-2. Stripling here in the 5th inning will start off with the shortstop Gregorio Petit, then Escobar Calhoun, and if anybody gets on, Mike Trout. Mike talking to another Mike, his skipper. One thing about Mike, if you keep watching him, he smiles most of the time, and for good reason. Change up in nicely for a strike. Petit lined out to third baseman Justin Turner. Change followed by a fastball. So quickly he's out in front, 0-2. Petit struggling, hitting just 176, doing a good job at short. Of course, when they lost Andrelton Simmons when he jammed his thumb, they lost a great deal. Simmons had a home run, 8 RBIs, but he wasn't hitting much. And there's a ground ball into left center field. Thompson is up with it. So Petit opens up the 5th inning with a single. Well, we mentioned that Stripling had troubles in the 4th inning, but he retired the side. In the 5th inning, the earned run against him in that inning is over 9. So we'll see if he can right the craft. He's got Escobar and Calhoun coming up. Escobar single to center, single to left. Dodgers leading 4-2. Giants are leading 3-1. Giants trying to win their 8th in a row. Ball 1. Stripling has made 71 pitches. Dave Roberts counting pitches, trying to figure things out, trying to match up pitcher against hitter. There's the big matchup right there. 1 ball and no strikes. Two 2-0 the count. Escobar checking. Ron Renicky coaching at third. Gary B. Sarcina coaching at first. There's Ron. And there's Gary. 2 balls and no strikes. And drop that in nicely for a strike. 2-1. Four runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs, 7 hits for the Angels. Fastball popped in the air to right center, appears playable, and it's Puig. So Escobar flies to right, 1 down in the 5th, and the batter is Cole Calhoun. Calhoun hit into a force play in the 1st inning, was wild pitch to second, and scored on the base hit by Trout on a 3-2 count. Cole hitting .293, and of course he is charged with a tremendous responsibility to get on base for Trout and Pujols. Tough time now for Stripling. Fouled away. So the opposition really perking up around this time, and as we said, the 5th inning has been a nightmare for him in his previous starts. So this is a big inning to get through it. 0-1. One and one. Petit standing in first, held on by Kendrick. One and one to Cole Calhoun. Check swing, breaking ball missing. 2-1. Now let's see, Calhoun looking down to third at Ron Renicky. This is a hit and run count. 2 balls, 1 strike. If there is one, we'll see it now. We'll watch Petit. 2 balls and 1 strike, and so will Stripling. Petit does not go, and it's ball 3. So they weren't running him 2 balls and 1 strike. We'll see about 3-1. Petit, the shortstop, has pretty good running speed. Big pitch for Stripling, and of course on deck, and his mind and heart has to be over there just looking at Trout. Three and one. Petit does not go, foul back. So he didn't go 2-1, 3-1, now 3-2. Dodgers have turned 2 double plays to help Stripling out. So again, we'll keep an eye on Petit. Calhoun waiting on a full count. Stripling not ready to throw. Petit is going. Foul back. Well, in San Diego, the Giants are leading the Padres 3-1, and they're in the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Giants are 3 outs away from winning their 8th in a row. Giants are 3 outs from having a road record of 14-8. All right, Petit was going once. We figure he'll be going again. 3-2. Not much Utley can do except field a ground ball. He's a long way from second base, so it's up to Seager. Petit goes, and the pitch outside, ball 4. And now here comes Mike Trout. Mike Trout is having quite a 2 games. He hit a breaking ball out of sight. That's about 390. Last night, home run, a walk, and 2 singles. Tonight, a single and a home run. So in the 2 games, 2 home runs, 3 singles, and a walk. They got him out once, and he almost took the glove off Justin Turner in his last time up last night. A very serious meeting as to what to do. 2 on, nobody out. And here's Mike. Trout, interestingly enough, had a 3-2 pitch and singled in the first inning. Came up in the 3rd inning, had a 3-2 pitch and hit a home run. Earlier this year, on a 3-2 pitch, he was batting only 107. All right, Petit at second, Calhoun at first, and Mr. Trout. Ball one. Stripling is having problems, especially with his curveball tonight. Of course, the curveball always works off the fastball, and that's not been particularly effective. The 1-0 pitch. Ball two. He's allowed only 5 hits on his curveball coming into the game. The 2 big ones tonight, both of Trout's hits on a 3-2 count were on the curveball. So he's behind 2-0, the young Mike. And that makes it 3-0. Well, boy, you are on the horns of a dilemma as Hatcher is warming up. I mean, you're 3-0. First base, second base occupied. Trout the hitter and Pujols on deck. They might let him swing 3-0. Fastball off the plate. Well, this has been the nightmare inning for Stripling. The inning itself, the opposition in the 5th inning, the ERA is 9.5. He's averaged 6 innings a start, and the 5th inning the nightmare, followed by the 6th inning and a lot of trouble. So here is the great Pujols hitting .330, 13 home runs with the bases loaded, 195 runs batted in, 2,700 hits, 568 home runs. So Stripling, whose pitch count is at 85, that's another thing. When he pitches from 76 to 90, the opposition is hitting .409. So trouble is to be expected for Stripling in the 5th inning. 1 out, bases jammed. Fastball for a strike. Pujols doesn't say anything to Mike Estabrook, but his body language shows he didn't think that was a strike. 0-1. Breaking ball for a strike. Well, a good curveball to go 0-2. So Petit at third, Calhoun at second, Trout at first, and 1 out. So anxious moment for Dave Roberts. He's had Chris Hatcher up in the pen. Fastball got him looking. He can't believe it. Mike Estabrook gesturing at home plate. So Albert Pujols set up on that great curve and caught looking at the fastball. Pujols drops his bat in frustration, takes a good pitch. So down he goes. Mike Estabrook rings him up, and the batter will be C.J. Cron. If Pujols saw that pitch, he would have seen it was in the strike zone. Little cutter for a strike, 0-1. So Stripling trying to show his mettle and fight his way after a jam. Soshi's a little hot. 0-1. Estabrook keeping his cool. Fastball hits him, and that brings in a run. He had him 0-1, and the fastball got away. So Cron, hit by the pitch, gets a run batted in. Trout goes to second. Calhoun goes to third. Pettit comes home, and Roberts going to the mound, and that's it. He gestures for Hatcher. So after a great duel, he got Pujols, but then hitting Cron. That means Hatcher's coming in. Stripling goes out. He did not go the required 5, so he can't win. And we'll be back. He gets into the 5th inning, strikes out the great Pujols, and then hits Cron to force in a run and keep the inning alive. He made 90 pitches, and now his game is in the hands of Chris Hatcher. You know, earlier this year, and this goes with every team, but earlier this year the Dodger bullpen was terrific. They had a streak of 19 consecutive scoreless innings. However, they're now in a bad streak. The Dodger bullpen has allowed 12 runs in 12 and through 3rd innings. Stripling made 24 pitches in the inning and 90 pitches in the game, and it figured that 5th inning would get him. Remember, we told you that his average earned run average in the 5th is 9. Hatcher, little breaking ball, but missed ball 1. Giovatelli single, struck out. Cron, Trout, and Calhoun all out on the lines. Dodgers lead 4-3. Giovatelli, a tough little hitter, and the 7th man to come to the plate. Fastball whacked into left field, base hit. Thompson over to get it. 2 runs will score. Stopping at second is Cron, and that's turned it around. 5-4 Angels. Giovatelli comes up with his 2nd hit and drives in 2. Those runs, of course, are charged to Stripling. So Calhoun and Trout come home. Giovatelli continues his streak. He has hit 8 in a row. Stripling now stands to lose unless the Dodgers come back. And here is Ortega, who was struck out, grounded to short. So Hatcher gives up the hit, and Stripling gives up the runs. By the way, that little second baseman, another pest in the league. Giovatelli, last year with the bases loaded, hit 700, 7 for 10. And that's a strike to Ortega, 0 for 2. So Petit started off with a base hit with 1 out. Calhoun walked, Trout walked. With 2 out, Cron hit by the pitch, and that was the killer pitch that did it for Stripling. And now the base hit by Giovatelli. 2 on, 2 out, and 3 in. And that's ball 1. One and one. Fastball that missed. 2-1. So the Angels have had 2 hits in the inning, 2 hits and a hit batter, and they've scored 3. Cron at second, Giovitella at first, 2 out, and Ortega up there 2-1. Interesting, in the inning, the Dodgers got Pujols with the bases loaded. He struck out. 2-2. Albert, by the way, has 18 home runs in his career against the Dodgers. Paul Goldschmidt and Matt Holliday have 22 each. Stripling dodged the bullet when he struck out Albert, only to hit Cron. 2-2. And a high fly ball. Thompson is there and puts it away. 8 men come to the plate. 3 of them come home, and at the end of 5, it's 5-4 Angels. Left-hand hitting first baseman Dale Long of the Pirates hit a home run. He went on to hit a home run in 8 consecutive games. The 8th one on this date against Carl Erskine in Ebbets Field. Quickly, let's go back to this one. One ball and no strikes. And ball 2. The 8th home run hit by Dale Long was against Carl Erskine at Ebbets Field on the 28th of May. The Bucks won 3-2 behind Bob Friend. Shot up the middle, but that's exactly where Giovitella was playing, Grandal. 1 out. The batter Puig grounded to third, single to right. By the way, during that game, the 28th of May, the Pirates used a pinch hitter, a pinch runner, late in the game. Who was it? The great Roberto Clemente. Dale Long was also an interesting character. Branch Rickey was thinking of making him a left-handed catcher. They worked out, they tried, but they finally gave up the idea. But that would have been something to see a left-hand catcher in the big leagues. 1-1 to Yasiel Puig. Well, it's all over in San Diego. The Giants have won their 8th in a row. Samardzija the winner. He's now 6-2. He has an earned run average of 2.6. 1-2. Casilla got the save. So the Giants, two fellas that they went out and got, Johnny Cueto and Jeff Samardzija, are both doing very well. And the Giants have won 8 in a row. Fastball, and down goes Puig. Two down. Crawford coming up. Jose Ricardo Alvarez trying to ride to the rescue as he faces Crawford. Dodgers were retired in order only in the 2nd inning. Strike. 0-1. Angels lead 5-4, 6th inning. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt. 0-2. Both starters are gone. Neither one has much to do with it. Only that Stripling could lose. Chacin did not go 5, so he can't win. But Alvarez doing a good job. He's retired 5 in a row. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th. 5-4 Angels. By the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the Bacon-licious sourdough bacon ranch combo. Only at Jack in the Box. Hall of Famer, center fielder, Edwin the Duke Snyder. Boy, what a player he was. Meanwhile, Hatcher going to work. Perez has flied to right. Popped up. The Angels have had so many players go on the DL. And just when Giovanni Soto was settling in, He had to have knee surgery. So it's up to Perez to hold down the game behind the plate. Sosa, former catcher, knows how important it is. Laying off the fastball, 1-2. So the Dodgers got a run in the first, and the Angels came back with one to tie. Dodgers got two in the third. The Angels came back with one. Dodgers led 3-2. And the Angels, after the Dodgers scored in the fifth inning to make it 4-2, the Angels came back with three to make it 5-4. So it's their last meeting of the year, and they're making it a dandy as Trout and Calhoun make major contributions. Calhoun has scored twice, but of course he's hitting in front of Trout. Trout has scored 3 times. 3-2. Fastball. High fly ball into deep left center. Peterson going back along with Thompson. It is gone. So Hatcher gives one up. Perez hits a towering home run. That thing was really jammed, making the manager just shake his head. He got all of it, that's for sure. Certainly Perez is not considered a home run hitter. That's his first. But he hit it where the big boys hit him. So it's 6-4 Angels and a strike. Carlos Perez getting a hero's treatment with that big home run. Pitch off the strike. Petit chased it. 0-2 the count. Angels with 2 home runs tonight. So they've hit 36. And that's going to be hitting the gap in left center. Peterson is going to have to slide to run it down. And into second base goes Petit. So the bottom 2 lineup. Perez hits a monstrous home run and Petit doubles. So the Dodger bullpen that had done some brilliant work, 19 scoreless innings, now it's the other way around. Peterson hurting his shoulder a little bit, diving, trying to stop that ball. He was so far away that actually diving at the ball didn't make any sense, but then again, he's a competitor. Well, now they're looking at Escobar, who is 2 for 3, trying to pick up Petit. Strike as he shows bunt. Angels now 6 runs, 10 hits. Oh and 1. Fastball, chopper to the hole, through into left field. They will stop Petit. He had to hold up to make sure the ball got through. So for Escobar, he's 3 for 4. And for Hatcher, he has given up 4 hits and faced only 5 batters. Chris came in and gave up the single with the bases loaded to Giovatelli. Gave up the home run to Perez, the double to Petit, and now a single by Escobar. And Dave Roberts gesturing to Grandal, go out there and talk to him. Joe Blanton gets up in the bullpen. So the Dodgers trying to burn up a little time and get Blanton ready. So don't forget, Wednesday at 7:10, the first 40,000 in attendance receive an Adrian Gonzalez big hit celebration bobblehead presented by Time Warner Cable. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Well, the merry-go-round's going around and around. Adrian Gonzalez can only sit and watching Mike Trout, who's on deck. So here's Calhoun. Had a home run, double, and single. Calhoun hit into a force play, hit into a double play, walk, scored twice, and ball one. Nobody out. So the Angels trying to pick up the game and run away with it. Over at third is Petit. At first is Escobar. Calhoun's at the plate, and the big guy stands on deck. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball. Calhoun, pretty good swing on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Checking at third with Ron Renicky. Hatcher came in 3-3 with an ERA a little over 5. 1 ball, 1 strike. Escobar holding. Petit down the line from third. We're in the bottom of the 6th. One and two. Fastball at 96. Greg Malley, a left-hander, begins to warm up in the Angel bullpen. Escobar at first, Petit at third, nobody out. Fastball away at 97. 2-2. There's Malley loosening up. Runners at the corners. They really have to worry about Trout. He has been unbelievable in the last 6 games, plus tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. And a good fastball takes care of Calhoun. Well, now let's see. And Dave Roberts is going to go to the bullpen, and Mike Trout will just wait, and we'll be back. And Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the $4 real deal, 4 items for just $4 at Carl's Jr. Joe Blanton coming out of the Dodger bullpen trying to restore order. Order is summed up in the name Mike Trout. So Blanton says he's ready, and here comes Trout. Coming into this game, Trout was 10 for 24 with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 9 runs scored over the last 6 games. And then tonight, he has a single, a home run, a walk, and has scored 3 times. He's also knocked in a couple. So Escobar at first, Petit at third. You have Trout at the plate, and you have Pujols on deck. Trout hitting .329, breaking ball way outside, ball 1. Mike now has 10 home runs, 30 runs batted in, and he's also scored 28. Fastball hit back to the legs. Blanton gets to second and safe at first. So the run scores, and the Angels lead 7-4. So with a force play, he picks up another run batted in. Petit brings it home. Escobar is erased, and the batter is Albert Pujols. Trout has just about everything: power, speed, and checking to see how many double plays he's hit into. Only 2. Pretty tough to double up. Now here's Albert, walked in the first inning, doubled in the third, and struck out looking in the 5th. 7-4 Angels. 2 out. Trout at first. Trout has stolen 3 out of 4. And that's a strike. The Angels 7 runs, 11 hits. They've left 5. The Dodgers 4 runs, 6 hits. They've left 5. Angels have hit 2 home runs. Trout and Perez. Oh and 1. Trout almost got picked off. That was close. High foul ball off first, starting to come back, but not enough. Still in the crowd. 0-2 the count to Albert Pujols. In his last 8 games prior to tonight he's 1 for 2 with a double. Pujols hitting .364 with 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in. So both Trout and Pujols have perked up, and the Angels starting to play better. Began the night 4.5 behind Seattle. And fouled back to the stands. Still 0-2. Albert out in front of that. Just hit it off the end of the bat. When the Dodgers come up in the 7th inning, they'll have Utley, Turner, and Seager. Oh, and 2. And a big chopper backing up for the hop is Turner, and throws him out. Before 45,007, the Angels score 2 and lead 7-4. Middle of a 20 consecutive game streak. This is the 14th. They are 7-6, 2-2 on the road, 5-4 at home. They have one game tonight here. Then they'll go to San Diego and play the Reds at home, and that will complete it. The Dodgers then will go back out on the road and play the Mets and the Cubs. Meanwhile, Greg Mahle comes in for the Angels with a record of 1-0. Mahle is from Westminster, went to UC Santa Barbara, and we had a look at him briefly in one game. First pitch is strike, 0-1. As usual, many a game determined by what you do with runners in scoring position. Now, should the Angels win tonight, they will have won 3 out of 4, and they will have won it by coming up with clutch base hits. For instance, with runners in scoring position, the Dodgers are hitting .200 with 7 runs batted in. The Angels are hitting .372 with 20 runs batted in. 7-4 Angels. Foul ball, 0-2. Stripling, Hatcher, Blanton, Chacin, Alvarez, and Mahle. Utley bunted for a base hit, scored on a wild pitch, and strikes out. Utley had scored 3 times tonight, but down he goes. So Mahle nails him. Now Turner. Struck out, grounded out, singled. 1-for-3. Dodgers 4 runs. Utley scoring 3 of them. The only other run scored was Corey Seager, who singled and came home on Kendrick's triple. And a strike on the outside corner. Turner hitting .235, 1 home run, 9 runs batted in, and he scored 15. Another strike. 0-2 to Justin. Greg Malley is 6'1", 220 pounds, 23 years old. Malley became a professional just 2 years ago, and here he is. Two balls, 2 strikes. Waiting on deck, Corey Seager. And a high fly ball down the line. Calhoun coming over. 2 down. The Dodgers, thanks to a couple of walks and 1 base hit, scored a run in the 5th inning. They got the single by Puig with 2 out in the 4th, so they haven't really done anything since Kendrick, on an 0-2 pitch, triple to right. Seager grounded out, single, fly to center, and a strike. They don't load up the right side because he burned them in the 3rd inning, getting a base hit through the hole on the left side. Check. They look. No swing. Greg Malley grew up a Dodger fan as a kid in Westminster. Fly ball to left field, and that one's caught. So Ortega makes the play. The Dodgers go in order. That's 2, 5, 8 in a row retired, and the Angels lead 7-4. (7-4) in favor of the Angels. Joe Blanton, the 3rd Dodger pitcher, will be facing C.J. Cron, then Giovitella and Ortega. And ball 1. Interesting attendance here in Anaheim. For instance, last night they had a sellout, 44,006. Tonight they have 45,007. Kind of an odd combination. Maybe the last few people that came in before the first pitch. And by the way, in talking about the 45,000, that is the biggest crowd here since the renovation back in 1998. High foul ball down the line and going out of play. CJ has hit into a double play, fly to right, and the big pitch when he was hit by the starter Stripling. Fernando Salas, the right-hander, begins to throw in the Angel bullpen. Two and two. Had to chase that pitch, but he got a little of it. Oh, CJ is still there. CJ Cron. Then Giovitella, who's quite a story all by himself, as you see Salas loosening up. Christopher John, better known as CJ. Fastball. It got a little bit of Yasmani Grandal. 2 and 2. CJ's father is a former player and a manager in the Tiger organization. Say his dad was a good player, worked his way up, only was stopped dead in his tracks because in front of him was Wally Joyner. Fastball popped up, angling out is Utley, coming in is Puig. So one out in the 7th inning, and Johnny Giovitella coming up. Giovitella came into the game with a 7-game hitting streak, singled in the 2nd inning, and then had the big base hit in the 5th. So Giovitella has a streak of 8 in a row, and he's become a hot hitter, batting .267. Good run on that fastball. 0-1 the count. When the Dodgers come up in the 8th inning, Kendrick, Peterson, Thompson. Kendrick walked twice and tripled. Peterson 0 for 3. Thompson 0 for 3. So Blanton trying to quiet things. Foul back. Still 0-2. Giovitella 2 for 3. Went across the plate to take a swipe at that. So it's still 0-2. Kind of a David Eckstein kind of player. Not big physically, but great hustle. Gets the most out of limited ability. Fastball got him. So Giovitella strikes out. That's twice he's gone down, but he has 2 hits as well. And Blanton will now face Ortega. So Blanton came in to face Trout, got him to hit into a force play, got Pujols to ground out. Now in this inning takes care of Cron and Giovitella. So he retired 4 in a row. Ortega struck out, grounded to short, shows bunt for a strike, and last time up flied to left. Angels with 2 doubles and 2 home runs. The Dodgers have the triple and that's about it. 7-4 Angels, trying to win 3 out of 4 and then play Baltimore while the Dodgers are in San Diego. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1. Giants won. Dodgers in danger at falling 3.5 games back on May the 19th. Pretty good sinker. 2-2. 2 out, bases empty. Dave Roberts looking at the lineup. Kendrick, Peterson, Thompson. That's the way the standings look for the moment. Might tack another half a game in the Dodger deficit. So Blandon comes in, strikes out Giovitella and Ortega, and we have 7 innings in the books. It's 7-4 Angels. Live with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and so much more. Download MLB.com at bat. That's the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Couple of changes. Petit moves over from short to second. Brendan Ryan takes over at short, and Fernando Salas on the mound. Fernando from Sonora, Mexico. Guatabampo to be exact. 6'2", 200. 31 years old the end of the month. Howie Kendrick at the plate, and a strike. Kendrick walked, tripled on a 0-2 pitch, and walked in the 5th inning. 7-4 Angels in the 8th inning. Pretty good fastball at 92. 0-2 the count. Fernando Salas, S-A-L-A-S, originally drafted by the Cardinals. 0-2. Just check swing, no swing. Big Jordan Baker down there on the foul line at 6'7" is the tallest umpire in the majors. One ball, 2 strikes. And down goes Kendrick. Oh, 1 away in the 8th inning. Josh Peterson grounded out twice, hit into a force play, 0 for 3. When he hit into the force play, he picked up a run batted in. Peterson with Thompson on deck. Well, a pretty good swing at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Then he asked the umpire, did I swing at a strike? And Estabrook nodded yes. Oh, and 1. Comebacker. So 2 down, and the string of outs now is coming to extend a bit. That's 2, 5, 8, 10 in a row retired. Here's Thompson, struck out, grounded out, hit into a force play. Utley scored 3, Seager scored 1, and that's it. 7-4 Angels. Shoots that fastball in there. 0-1. Salas pitched a couple of years in the Mexican League before the Cardinals purchased him. Salas had a little trouble in high Class A in his debut, so the Cardinals loaned him back to Saltillo to finish the season. One ball, 1 strike. Ball 2. Trace hitting 280. 2-2. So the last 10 in a row have been retired since Kendrick walked back in the 5th inning. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Fouled away. In looking at the crowds at Dodger Stadium, we had 39,583. Then the big crowd, 48,459. Here, 42,514 and 44,000. Followed by tonight, 45. Almost always when the Angels and Dodgers get together, the larger crowd is always here. I remember Jerry Doggett, God rest his soul, saying because there are more Dodger fans down here than there are Angel fans up there. 3-2. Chacin, Alvarez, Malley, and Salas. And ball 4. So the Dodgers still looking for a hit. Their last hit was the single by Turner in the 5th inning. Now here's Grandal. Yasmani hit a line drive back at Chacin. Flied to center, grounded to second, 0 for 3. Angels load up the right side. No balls, 1 strike. Breaking ball fouled away. 0-2. Had a little action to it, maybe a cutter. Escobar all alone on the left side. Brandon Ryan just came into the game, and he's moved over to second. And Petit 5 feet out in shallow right field. 0-2. Another foul ball. Each side scored in the first. Each side scored in the third. But it was the Dodgers leading 3-2. Then the Dodgers led 4-2. Then the Angels scored 3 to lead 5-4. 2 more to lead 7-4. Crack bat comebacker. That'll be that. No runs, no hits, a man left. At the end of 7.5 innings, it is 7-4 Angels.
Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better.
Bottom of the 8th inning, 7-4 in favor of the Angels. And Chin-Hui Sao just coming up. Mike Bolsinger went back down. Sao spells that last name T-S-A-O, and it comes out S-O-W. He is from Taiwan. He was originally drafted by the Rockies back in 1999. Came up in 2004. Then stayed through 5. Then he was hurt, put on the DL. Eventually came to the Dodgers way back in 07. So we'll see what he does tonight. He'll be facing Perez to lead it off, and a strike. Chin-Hui Sao, 6'1", 210. Working on Carlos Perez, who hit that big home run in the 6th inning. 0-2. He hit the home run in the little valley of rocks in deep left center field. It was really a bomb, about 390. 0-2. Fastball popped in the air, foul. Coming over is Kendrick. The ball's drifting back, and he makes the play. So Perez fouls out. 1 out in the 8th, and Petit coming up. In the Angel bullpen with Houston Street sideline, the closer instead of being the setup man, Joe Smith, warming up. Sal facing Petit, who lined out to third, singled and scored, doubled and scored. So Petit having a good night. One away. That's right. If you are not keeping score when the Dodgers come up in the ninth inning, it will be Puig, Crawford, and Utley. When the Rockies signed Sal, they signed him for over a $2 million bonus. I love the answer he gave about why he signed. That's going to be a drive to right, and Puig comes up and nail it. 2 down. When they asked Sal, who signed that contract with Colorado for $2.2 million, he said, the number one reason I signed with the Rockies, I like the uniform. He loved the purple pinstripes and the black hat. And third on the list was the $2.2 million contract. So 2 down, and here's Escobar. Single to center, single to left, fly to right, single to left. Though Escobar, a very good hitter, now has his average at .311. It is certainly no fluke that he has 3 hits. Fouled away. Sal, born in 1981. Though he'd been around, he will be 35 the 2nd of June. Looks in very good shape. 6'1", 210. 0-1. Seattle won its ball game, and it beat Baltimore, and Baltimore is coming here. Dodgers go to San Diego. Dodgers home Monday night against Cincinnati. Two balls and 1 strike. Boy, Sal hits 96 on the gun. And a fly ball into right center. Puig is there. So the Angels in the 8th inning go 1, 2, 3. The Dodgers coming up in the 9th. It'll be Puig, Crawford, and Utley. A nice inning turned in by Sal, and we'll be back. 4 lead into the 9th inning. The Dodgers have not had a base hit since Turner singled in the 5th. So Puig, Crawford, and Utley coming up. Joe Smith, born in Cincinnati, still lives there. Got a lot of ragging by players with that name. Sounds like it's an assumed name, but it's true. Joseph Smith out of Cincinnati, went to Wright State University. Houston Street, waiting and waiting to get well and pitch again. So his setup man is now the closer, at least for a while. Joe will be pitching first of all to Yasiel Puig. Puig has grounded to third, single to right, and struck out. Right at the knee for a strike. 0-1. Puig hitting .236. With the side arming Smith, you'll get a fastball up to 94, slider, and a changeup. His pitch has a tendency to sink, and he'll throw that about close to 50% of the time. Followed by the slider. 1-2. Boy, a lot of late action on that. That thing almost ate up Puig. Joe is 6'2", 205-pounder, and that's in there for strike 3. Puig unhappy with the call, but he strikes out a second time and goes 1 for 4. Well, that'll bring up Crawford. Just did catch the corner. Crawford 0 for 3, 3 ground balls. Twice to second, 1 to short. On deck, Chase Utley, who in his leadoff role scored 3 times tonight. Foul ball. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Angels. They left 6. Dodgers 4 runs, 6 hits. They've left 6. But the big difference in the series, what each team did with runners in scoring position. Mike Trout and his machine hit .372 to drive in 20 runs. That sliced down the line and will be caught. Oh, what a play by Ortega. Oh. Marvelous play by the Angel left fielder, and he gets an ovation from his teammates. Got a little skin removed from the left forearm, but take a look at this. Wow, great play. The Crawford losing an extra base hit. Dodgers down to their last out. Standing in the way is Chase Utley. Yeah, that's worth several catches. So 2 down. Though the Dodgers still without a hit since the 5th inning single by Turner. Utley scored 3 times, has 2 hits. There's a ground ball, and that will do it. So the Dodgers lose 2 straight here. The Mike Trout people have now won 3 out of 4. It took Joe Smith 9 pitches. The Dodgers now 3.5 games behind San Francisco. The play of the game certainly would be Johnny Giavotella. He came up in the 5th inning. He had already singled in the 2nd. His base hit drove in 2, and that was enough for the Angels to hold on and move on and win both. So it's a big night for the Angels as they try to get a move on and catch Seattle. They'll be facing Baltimore. The Dodgers go to San Diego, and we'll see you at Dodger Stadium Monday night with Cincinnati. Till then, good evening, everybody.